Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Luigi Galaxy in the Super Mario Galaxy game for the Nintendo Wii / Nintendo Wii U digital download software version. So, yeah, last time we actually did manage to collect some more of those power stars on the forms of the kitchen dome, and we managed to able to bump into a twin of ours, which is of course a Luigi twin. In this case we have a duplicate of Luigi himself, so it's kind of interesting to say the much for that particular differences from here. So today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be continue on and hopefully collect some more power stars onto the kitchen dome itself, and I really have no idea. I'm having so much of a hard time trying to able to get that extra life right down there. But of course I might as well able to skip over that because, well, I'm pretty sure for the majority of the time for extra lives department will be pretty much all settled as it is. See, even then though, yeah, let's head back to Ghostly Galaxy quickly and do, what else, some more missions on that particular galaxy itself. And after that, well, consecutively we might actually move on to Boyar Base Galaxy, and I believe if we collect more of those power stars we might actually get ourselves our second Finding Luigi mission. So even then though, that will be of course at Battle Rock Galaxy, and that's as far as I can most likely concern it off for this point at the moment. So yeah, today was actually forms of the 15th of May in 2019, so tomorrow that Castlevania Anniversary Collection will be released tomorrow for the PlayStation Network store, and I believe Xbox Live Arcade or the Xbox Live Xbox One digital download software, as far as I'm most likely aware of, and especially noticeable with the Nintendo eShop download on the Nintendo Switch. So of course I might actually picked up the PlayStation 4 version, which I'm probably not exactly ready for that yet, until whenever it gets to the point until Halloween at some point this year. Then I would be able to actually just to play Castlevania series after all on the actual compilation collection. So so you're after it too? Well, you have to race me for it. Yes. Here we go. Seriously, that helmet is so much like the forms of how it does it on Mario Strikers Charge Football though. Even though I keep on saying this too much about it, because even then though, I've already explained about this since, you know, Super Mario Galaxy Let's Play. So yeah, that's as far as I'm most likely aware of. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about it. And as far as the actual Castlevania Anniversary Collection, as far as the PlayStation 4 version, and I believe also achievements, well, in this case the Xbox One version of the game as well, once again it does have trophies / achievements. It depends on what two different console versions you might actually go for, but even then it might play out exactly the same as between the two, but except on the Nintendo Switch, because, well, it doesn't seem to have achievements or trophies or anything like that. Other than it gives you like gold points every time you download the game and stuff like that for that nature. And that's as far as I most likely say about this here. So even then, I believe the amount of trophies / achievements for, you know, Castlevania Anniversary Collection, meaning the you know, the compilation of all 8 titles on that specific compilation, outside from Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night on their separate compilation, because even then though, because it's most likely focusing on, you know, Richter Belmont on those 2 games basically, but even then though, that for the majority of the time, then you know, it just takes place in the actual like classic past or something like that, but even then though, that's as far as I'm most likely aware of. So yeah, it contains like 14 trophies / achievements on that particular compilation, so as far as I've researched on it, and it may actually look like the majority of the trophies / achievements is going to be most likely mainly focusing on completing software games as far as I'm concerned. Because of that though, well, not to be more specific though, although most of the time you have to replay the entire game multitude of times until you're able to get several other trophies or achievements, like for example, although I'll explain more on that later, because for now we're moving on to the third, well, in this case the next mission in Ghostly Galaxy, and that is Beware of Bouldergust. So yeah, that's as far as I usually set this. So So yeah, sometimes, as I said before, when it comes to some other trophies in certain games, most of the time, though, is that you have to replay the game again, but with a different character ending. Like, for instance, for example, that we need to be able to replay, you know, you have to complete the game of Castlevania 3, for example. It does have a partner system and stuff like that. And it does have, like, 4 playable characters, like, for instance, Trevor Bilmart, and especially noticeable with, I would say Alucard, and also, I do apologize with the forms of the actual name pronunciation errors again, but even then, we have Cypher Bernardis, and especially noticeable with Grant Dynasty. So, but again, I must admit though, right away, I'm not exactly pure expert when it comes to the forms of certain pronunciations and stuff like that for that nature, but again, I do apologize for that point. So, anyways, before we launch ourselves to the next spot, in this case the next location, we need to go ahead and grab some more of those star bits if we can, and sadly no jackpot for Luigi, so that's disappointing. But even then, we still managed to get quite a few star bits as it is, especially noticeable whenever we unlock some more stages, and especially noticeable for like, you know, obtaining some more power stars, and you probably get the idea for that point. So anyways, let's keep on knocking over that little particular spider-looking enemy, and of course this will be a I think, kind of thing about it though, although I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this will be I just got burned myself, oops. Anyways though, I think, so to speaking, to say that this will be the final time we're going to be seeing this little sling parts kind of mechanic right there, because even then though, until the sequel comes around, which is Super Mario Galaxy 2, then we might actually not go to see those again, because even then, that, you know, I found it to be kind of an okay, although, forget it. Anyway, so, apart from that though, when it comes to like, the actual compilation of Castlevania Anniversary Collection, well, again, as I said before, I'm probably not gonna get it just yet though, because obviously I need to save it up until when it gets to the point until October sometime, because of, you know, the Halloween themed or something like that for that recitable, and that's as far as I can most likely aware of for that particular part. And plus, I do know for the fact that it's now easier to able to get ourselves Castlevania Bloodlines as well, aka Castlevania A New Generation now, is because of how the fact that it's all digital downloads, and even then though, that makes it a little bit more of a cheaper price than the forms of the original cartridge version, you know, very similar to the forms of Mega Man The Wily Wars that only came out in Japan, especially in our country, but never saw the light of day on the America. But even then, I have no idea why they never saw the light of day on the America though. It's kind of like the same thing for, you know, the American version of Pikmin 2 on the Nintendo Wii back in 2009, but it wasn't until in 2012 they did manage to able to bring the release of Pikmin 2 for the Nintendo Wii until in 2012 in America. So, at least they got that at least, so... Alrighty then, so same stuff as usual, it's the fact that we need to use these little boo bombs to able to, you know, to able to actually deal the damage of the forms of the Boulder Gust himself. But again, I do apologize if the actual, like, the actual dialogue itself has gone pretty much in a bad error, because, well, to be expected, if I manage to do a lot of commentary and stuff like that, sometimes my throat seems to able to actually just dry it up a little bit. So even then though, hopefully I might as well able to make myself a little bit better until before one hand, but even then though, that's as far as I'm most likely aware of, so... But I digress. So another thing I want to talk about this actually is the fact that recently, that Nintendo has been announced there's going to be, what else, another Pokemon Rumble installment, which appears to be on the mobile devices this time around, because even then we already had one from the WiiWare, even though it will be no longer be purchasable now because of how the fact that, you know, the Nintendo Wii shop channel has been like died and all that stuff, and there was also 2 installments on the 3DS, which I haven't really played those necessary, other than I did used to have Super Pokemon Rumble, but I no longer have it because, well, I just found that game to be slightly repetitive. But even then though, that's only because of the fact that, well, I'm usually be okay with certain spin-off Pokemon titles, like for instance Pokemon Snap, because that was my favorite childhood memory games on the Nintendo 64. And for the love of God, please bring a sequel to Pokemon Snap, although it probably won't be, per se, because of how the fact that they're most likely focusing on the mainstream Pokemon title for the Nintendo Switch by this point, which is of course Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Nintendo Switch, which appears to be in Generation 8, which I'm pretty sure we've already talked about this before, so even then though, let's not get ahead of ourselves for that point, until that game will actually get some more details until this year's E3, which again, we've only got about a month to go, until that usually is going to happen, so... Alright, so I get a strong feeling that we might actually bump into a Prankster Comet right now, so speaking of which, there it is right here. In this case, in Daredevil Comet mission, so even then though, I think seems to say this will be the final time we're going to be seeing Boulder Gust in this game, because even then though, we're not going to see him, well, most of it, because even then I'm probably not going to spoil things too much on Galaxy 2 whenever we get to that particular game, so... Anyway, so, onwards to Boulder Gust's Daredevil run, so, here we go. Oh boy. I've no idea why I truly say that, because, well, it just makes it a little bit slightly tricky with Luigi, because, you know, again, once you're able to go for a complete stop, well, most of the time, Luigi just managed to able to slid, off certain parts of the actual platforming, stuff like that, well, no idea why I truly say that. So anyways, another thing I want to explain about this, well, usually I'm still talking about Pokemon Rumble game on the mobile devices, which apparently that particular game is going to call it Pokemon Rumble Rush, which even then, well, it appears to be a free app game, but much like in forms of how it does it on certain Nintendo games on the iPhone devices games these days, is the fact that, well, until when it gets to the point until when, I was really hoping some more details about the forms of Mario Kart Tour at some point, but although it did say that it was about to be releasing at some point this summer, but even then I'm really looking forward to see some more details about that. And yeah, as far as I'm aware though, that Pokemon Rumble Rush might actually play out the exactly same game as the forms of how it does it from the previous versions of Pokemon Rumble, from the WiiWare and 2 Nintendo 3DS installments and all that stuff, although once again, it's going to be able to utilize the in-game purchases, just like the forms of how it does it on Pokemon Rumble World for the Nintendo 3DS. Well, except on the packaging version, because in the packaging version of Pokemon Rumble World, at least you get yourselves like 50 gems or something like that, until you're able to actually use the actual gems as much as you want to able to use it wisely. Whilst in the forms of Super Pokemon Rumble, well, it's only for full price. And let's just say for Pokemon Rumble U for the Nintendo Wii U is probably for the bad game, admittedly, for that. Because, well, you know how the problem with the forms of Pokemon Rumble U on the Wii U is because, well, first of all, you need to be able to buy loads of figurines until you're able to actually just to play the game. And especially noticeable with how the fact that I really hate the fact that the actual arenas themselves is not explorated anymore, because instead it's more accurately just exploring on this really very pointless square-shaped arena, which even then, it just feels lazy in execution. But it does have one thing in mind, and that was the forms of the co-op aspect with, you know, Pokemon Rumble U. But at least they've got that. But apart from that, though, Pokemon Rumble U is one of the worst games on this series. Anyways though, so let's move on to Bio-Base Galaxy, which appears to be on the first mission, is the Floating Fortress. So let's go ahead and just dive underwater right there, so let's go ahead and do that. And why do I just do that? I did not mean to hit the penguin, darn it. Jeez, what's going on with you, spin jump, homie attack kind of ability? I don't know exactly what you call that technique per se, but oh well, we'll expect things for this matter. So, and speaking of which, actually, is the fact that when it comes to the actual release date for Pokemon Rumble Rush, well, I don't know exactly for that just yet though, because obviously I'm pretty sure it did manage to came out already on Australia, but even then I don't know exactly everything else for that part on most of the other countries anyway, like Japan, especially noticeable for European or Europe, as far as I'm most likely aware of, and especially noticeable for Americans' release dates, but even then we'll find things out until in the future anyway. So explain about this, actually, is the fact that, recently, actually, until later on until 11 o'clock, I'm actually pretty excited about this point today, folks, because you can definitely tell why I'm finally coming back into the forms of, like, some discussions about news, updates, and everything like that. Well, it's nothing related to its individual videos, per se, but it's more accurately, though, whenever I do some Let's Play of, and especially noticeable, there's not much else to talk about this, because even then, though, that, as you can tell, that I'm going for the exact same game again, but this time with playing as Luigi of all things, but you still come across into the exact same missions, but some cosmetic differences in some missions, like, you know, we stumble across, you know, the twin Luigi of all things and stuff like that for that part, and not as far as I can actually just trying to explain about this, potentially. So yes, today, that's, as I said before, today's day was the 15th of May, so in this case, we got ourselves another Nintendo Direct. Yes, it's been about 3 whole months since, well, I would say for almost 3 months since the last Nintendo Direct type, but it's gonna be most likely focusing on one title per se, just like the forms of how it does it on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from last year. But this time around, though, is going to be most likely focusing on Super Mario Maker 2 Direct, because obviously that game's going to be a month away to release. So even then, I'm still looking forward to that title, especially noticeable because of how the fact that, well, I'm really into, like, making some occasional, well, I don't necessarily make most of the levels in Super Mario Maker, the original, just because, well, the problem, the hardest part about making the levels for me sometimes is the fact that just trying to create something original, and especially noticeable with how the fact that I just think about the actual level's name, and most of the time, though, that, well, I'm usually pretty good in some customization ideas, but when it comes to the actual levels customization, though, well, I just don't know how do I supposed to do it, though. So even then, I need to get a little bit of practice, especially because of how the fact that until when Super Mario Maker 2 comes around until, you know, next month or so, then I shall be able to actually create some more levels. If only if I manage to get ourselves the special bundle with the actual stylus and stuff like that. Because I was expecting that, although what I'm really hoping for when it comes to the forms of Super Mario Maker 2 Direct, which will happen until 11 o'clock, although I'm probably not going to mention about this too much until whenever I you know, get back to this game, though, and just discuss upon more stuff about Super Mario Maker 2. But I was really hoping they'll actually mention about the fact that, well, the actual Super Mario Maker 2 will come with the actual stylus bundle, which, kind of like the same thing for how it does it on Super Mario Maker for the Nintendo Wii U, that, basically in that game, it does, contains not only by the forms of that little particular art book and stuff like that, but it's also the special, you know, the special 30th anniversary of the Super Mario amiibo, like the 8-bit rendition of 3D Mario and stuff like that, which I really appreciate about that's gonna happen. And why do I just keep on landing on that penguin? Oh, I'm so sorry. Jeez, I'm gonna blame on that homing spin jump if I were you, because, well, I have no idea I keep on just stomping on it to its head. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Anyways, though, so let's go and get ourselves our green star on this mission now. So even then, because I always attempt to save the green star mission for later, because obviously that if I accidentally grab the green star at the very end, then obviously I might as well able to actually end up going back into the front part of the Comet Observatory. So even then, though, that's as far as I'm most likely going to have to do that for every single part of it, though. And of course we have to deal with these bullet bills once again, but the thing is about these, as you can tell, that I don't do this on the first attempt this time, because it's going to be more accurately, though, multitude of attempts this time around, though, because, well, the problem with this mission sometimes is the fact that sometimes these bullet bills always keep on crushing into each other, and as a result, it might actually just sometimes waste my time. As long as you can able to actually just jump a little bit slightly higher before the bullet bill might start to come after you, but most of the time, though, it might actually not be concerned with. So, oh Jesus Christ, almost gonna get screwed over, but even then, though, I seem to able to get screwed over for some bullet bill shots and stuff like that. So, but again, you have to be exactly most accurate with that particular point right there, especially noticeable whenever we save another Luigi until whenever we get able to actually meet up with him on Battle Rock Galaxy specifically. But even then, we'll find things out later on. So even then, or speaking of such, that after all, since we got ourselves our first green star for Luigi anyway, or in this case the playable version of Luigi. So in this case then we can able to actually see what we already know about this is basically. So the secret of the Boyle base as far as the secret mission's name. So yeah. You rescued a green power star. These stars have a special power. Ask the green Lumas about them. After all, they will transform into the green power stars someday. Which of course there are about 3 of them, so even then no. However though, there's one tiny little bit of a difference what I'm going to do this time around though, although I'll explain more details onto this whenever we continue for this run through. So here's another letter for Luigi, and in this case we have to go back to Battle Rock Galaxy at this point. See if Nintendo, hopefully we can do that. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to able to actually just to go ahead and actually before I get into the forms of the actual Luigi's mission actually, I'm just go ahead and just deal with the Hungry Luma stage first, and then after that, then I shall be able to actually just get into the Battle Rock Galaxy and save the twin brother of all things. So, but even then, no, that's as far as I can plan it for the time being. So, let's go ahead and feed the 600 of those star bits at the Hungry Luma, and everything else will be sorted for the time being. So, in this case, we can now able to lead to ourselves into, of course, the Drip Drop Galaxy. So, again, now whenever you're trying to unlock some more galaxies and stuff like that, you have to do with those stages before you do anything more than that. So, Giant Eel Breakout, of course. So in this case, we need to destroy, or in this case, kill 30 eel, or no, 3 eels, as far as I'm most likely to say about it. But I digress. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to able to watch the Super Mario Maker 2 Direct, which even then though, but again, it's been almost 3 months since the last official Nintendo's Direct style, which appears to be Pokemon Direct, to able to actually just show some, you know, the gameplay footage of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I will admit though right away, it's been about, you know, it's about time actually to able to actually announce something. Well, I'm very, at least I did manage to able to expect to see how Mario Maker 2 Direct will happen, because even then, though, that was when before E3 will start to able to come out with you know, Nintendo Direct for E3, so even then, though, but again, we'll mention more on that as soon as we're able to actually get into the Purple Comet challenges and stuff like that in the future, but even then, though, from now on, though, we'll just have to take care of these little, giant eels for now, so even then, though, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that though, and especially noticeable, I'm really looking forward to see how there are going to be some more features with Super Mario Maker 2, even though we already know about the game itself looks like, especially noticeable with the actual release date of that game will come out, which is specifically the 28th of June, which I'm actually quite proud about that. Because of that though, I might actually give us a little bit more time before I'm able to actually customize the actual levels from Super Mario Maker 2. In fact, I can do a lot more options this time around though, as opposed to in Mario Maker 1, that I can now finally add some slopes, which even then though, that's the only thing I was really, that was my dream wish back in the day in 2015, whenever when Mario Maker came out, but it does have pretty lacking with slopes, which unlike in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS and for the Wii U, especially with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, at least they did manage to have a little bit of a slope to able to actually add into the actual battle arena, but usually in Mario Maker 1, especially noticeable on the 3DS version if you really want to count that, then obviously it doesn't have that much slopes into it, so at least I'm very happy about the fact that the slopes did manage to make an existence in a sequel, so because again, that's what makes some sequels seems to able to improve upon the first ones. So, yeah, you probably get the idea these days. So even then, that concludes that particular galaxy right here. And now let's go ahead and save Luigi from the Battle Rock Galaxy. And after that, then we can able to move on to the boss level in the forms of, you know, the Kitchen Dome. And hopefully everything else will come together as to be expected. So, I suppose another thing I should probably say about this, potentially speaking, is the fact that, usually with Nintendo Switch sales, especially on Japan's case, well, I can't even believe about the fact that, well, Nintendo Switch has been now surpassed some sales from the PlayStation 4 in Japan. So even then though, usually kind of think about it, I'm pretty sure, although it's kind of hard to explain, because even then I haven't really looked upon some selling units between both the PlayStation 4 and especially noticeable with Nintendo Switch, even though I'm still really concerned about the fact that Nintendo Switch sales is doing super well for about 2 years or so now, even compared to the forms of how it does it on the actual Nintendo Wii U, that it doesn't do that much of sales points because, well, I'm pretty sure because of how the fact that it's just Nintendo Wii, but with a very, I'm not saying it's bad by any means, it's just that most people seem to have some criticisms with the forms of the actual design, although I don't really mind about the gamepad's introduction, but it's just that, well, some lack of features and stuff like that of how, unlike in most other generations of consoles, like for instance, like, although I don't mind about the forms of online features and stuff like that for the Wii U, well, aside from the Miiverse is now pretty much dead at this point, and aside from that, then well, at least it's not too bad. At least I found the Wii U console is pretty enjoyable still, but it's just that I feel like the marketing campaign, especially for the Wii U these days, is actually, well, it's not so bad somewhat in the beginning, but during later on in 2015 or something like that for that matter, it starts to able to actually go slightly shallow with the actual commercials and stuff like that for commercial successfuls these days. Well, in the forms of the Wii U stuff, compared to the Nintendo Switch, the commercials on some Nintendo Switch games has been super successful these days, because the problem with, you know, some commercials for the Wii U is the fact that they're constantly bringing us to the forms of small children, or in this case younger crowds, which I understand by the forms of the casual gamers, sure, but it's just that, well, I just get a strong feeling because of how the fact that that's why the Wii U doesn't sell well, because, well, despite that it was actually a pretty good console for that particular point, well, not usually that bad, but it's just that I found this console, for the Wii U at least, it's actually pretty cool back in the day, but every now and then, especially now we're actually moving on to the next Nintendo console, which appears to be, of course, Nintendo Switch, I think that's what the Nintendo Switch is now going to be conquering the actual sales, compared to the forms of how it does it on the Wii U now, because even then, I was actually quite intrigued for that. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and save the twin Luigi right there. Bah, I thought I'd go nuts in here. Try to save me next time, me. Yeah, you want this Power Star, right? Tell Rosalina I found this one. In this case, the second green star of all things, and we've only got one more green star to go, but it wasn't until whenever we get to the forms of Dusty Dawn Galaxy that we can able to, well, in this case, Dusty Dawn Galaxy, as far as I'm gonna have to pronounce that correctly. But, hopefully we can able to find the third and the final green star by then. So, there we go. I think that pretty much does it for now for the Battle Rock Galaxy. So I cannot even believe we're almost nearly close to the halfway point already for, you know, the Super Luigi Galaxy mode. See, Fernando, and especially noticeable with the entire game itself, will be actually be on the third quarter right now. Well, almost anyway, because until whenever we keep on collecting those, you know, some more power stars as Luigi, then sure enough, we can able to almost proceed towards the end of this Let's Play. See, Fernando, I cannot even believe that most of these days, especially these uploading schedules and all that stuff, can go pretty dang fast, kind of think about it. Although, one thing, there's actually one more thing I would able to discuss by this point, is the fact that, well, still much like any forms of how it does it on the previous days these days, is that I'm getting pretty sick of my microphone right now, because, well, for whatever reason, I did manage to able to actually get my voice command registered and all that stuff, but it's just that most of the time, every time when I did done some recording parts and all that stuff, Jesus Christ, it always just gets really damn quiet every time I just manage to listen to some of my commentary. So, anyway, so let's move on to Bowser Jr.'s airship Amanda, in this case, sinking the airships. So, in this case, the last level in the, well, the kitchen dome. And then, oh god, I'm almost gonna get hit by that Octo Rock right there. I'm actually kind of impressed about that, so, but no matter what though, I still managed to get hit by those enemies most of the time right there, so you probably get the idea for that. So anyways, let's go ahead and just shoot ourselves to the nice little shortcut once again. So just in case we can able to actually get the entire process of this level can go a little bit more faster than attempt to. So, but yeah, that's as far as I can most likely discuss upon for this point today, folks. And again, I'm really looking forward for the forms of some more information about Super Mario Maker 2, which I'm really looking forward to able to discuss upon that point. Well, until whenever we get to the next upload for Super Luigi Galaxy first. Although, tomorrow I need to be able to get back into Klonoa Dalton Phantom Isle first, before I'm able to actually just get back into this. So, hopefully that might actually make it happen. So, anyways, let's go ahead and just crouch here, just in case we don't get hit by those cannonballs, of course. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually just trying to think about the actual strategies in mind. So, anyways, so let's do this little, my triple jump failed, but nonetheless, I can easily use the backflip. So just in case that Luigi's jump is ridiculously high right there. And we meet again with Bowser Jr. again. Yo, just don't give up. Fine then. I guess I just, wump you myself. You want this grand star so bad? You gotta have to take it from me. So anyways, just like before, we need to able to use the Koopa shells right to its airship. So even then, no, nothing much else to be said and done. But even then, no, I remember back in 2013 actually, it's on my highlights, even though the actual video itself is no longer there anymore, just because of the actual bad commentary and stuff like that. Especially noticeable how damn quiet the commentary is these days back in the day. But now we're moving on to the modern world, or in this case the modern you know, era for the time being. But even then, at least I'm now used to with the forms of some software as far as I'm aware, but I digress. Though I do remember that I seemed to able to accidentally die by that Goomba in the box segment, which I think that only happens if I almost run out of health, and then I just instantly died by that out of place Goomba whenever I attack the box and stuff like that, which I will admit though is actually pretty hilarious. But it's no longer happened this time around though. But even then, I'm pretty sure I managed to still got that clip somewhere on the actual 3-year anniversary of the Maxi Toys channel department. So, but there goes Bowser Jr. and we can able to instantly get ourselves the 4th Grand Star while we were mid-air. And that pretty much does it for Bowser Jr.'s airship Amanda. So even then though, I believe we're now going to be moving on to the 4th dome right about now, which appears to be at the bedroom, of course. So even then though, that again until the next video, then we shall be able to actually collect some more power stars than attempt to. So, and one more thing before you're able to end off this video at this point is the fact that I must confess right about now, I do apologize with the forms of the lack of uploading schedules by this point. So even then though, hopefully when it gets to the point until in the future though, then the uploading schedules will be back to its normal state. Well, in this case, during the likes of in 6 o'clock-ish roughly, but most of the time though, that when it comes to in some days, then normally we upload some of the stuff quite late. So I must admit that I do apologize. Alright, so we discover 5 more galaxies onto the bedroom dome itself. Thanks to you and your friends, all of the domes on the lower level are working again. Once the engine room on the upper level has power, the whole observatory will be working. Then the Comet Observatory will fly as a starship once again. And you will be able to fly to your special one in the center of the universe. Thanks, Rosalina. I do appreciate about that little hint. So, in this case, I'm afraid to say, guys, is that we have to end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Luigi Galaxy in the Super Mario Galaxy game. Here's the fact that we're about to be exploring through the bedroom dome now. So see you guys next time for that. Later, fellas.